Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a DIY Dollar Tree easy and inexpensive Halloween skull wreath, part of a Collaboween created by Auntie Coo Coo. You have to check out her channel. She's amazing, as well as Kristen from Eclectic Kristen. She has amazing farmhouse hauls and decors. And Jean from Beauty and the Stamper. I love Jean. I've been watching her channel forever. She is so creative, outside of the box thinking. You guys love that. And then there's Sarah Jane from Chic on the Cheap. Love her channel. Amber from This Southern Girl Can. I'm just new to her channel too, and she is becoming one of my favorites, as well as Belinda Soto. She is also an amazing DIYer, loves Dollar Tree. And you guys will check them out as well. I'll link the playlist for the entire collaboration down below. So first thing we're going to need is 2 bags of these skulls. And we're going to use an 8-inch wreath. Now if you can't find the metal 8-inch wreath forms, you could use the wicker ones or the woven ones. Either way, just the small wreath would be better. If you do use the wire wreath, you want to use some sort of ribbon. I'm just going to use some black ribbon, but burlap would be cute too. And embellishments. So this is a boo sign. This is some jute that they have at the Dollar Tree. You're going to need your glue gun as well as a scissor. And then the embellishments are preference. You'll see we're going to come up with some different ideas. So I'm showing you that they, as long as you start with a small wreath, these skulls will fit proportionally. And that's really what we're looking for. I was just showing you some options of Halloween ribbons that they had at the Dollar Tree, some that black or white. You could do this with color. You could do purple, would be great. I just was going for a very neutral look of the skulls on a black background or black and white bows or ribbon. So I had this ribbon on hand. I have really only seen Dollar Tree ribbon in black around Halloween, but you guys know I have French country all over my house, and I have tons of black ribbon. I actually got this in the dollar bin at Michael's ages ago. They used to just take all their remnants, leftovers, and throw them into the dollar bin. And what we're going to do, and it's going to seem tedious, is we're just going to wrap this with the black ribbon. This is a satin ribbon. You can use grosgrain. And part of the fact that it's satin is I'm gluing it every so often, so it doesn't slip off itself. But if you use any other kind of ribbon, you don't have to. And we're just slightly overlapping, again, just to cover the wreath. This is just an option. You don't have to do it this way. One other option is to take a little bit of Spanish moss and cover the wreath in Spanish moss. I am going to show you, my original thought was I wanted to make it like farmhousey haunted. So I was going to wrap it in that wire edge burlap that they have at the Dollar Tree so plentifully. However, I did notice that it was the exact same color as the skulls, and it kind of blended away and like washed it away. So you'll see, I'm going to show you, after I'm done wrapping this one, I'm going to show you what it looks like on the burlap wreath. But again, you just want to glue every so often. What are the other options? That's what we were talking about real quick. We were just talking about you could do, like I said, you can do Spanish moss. You could do the green moss. You could put down, wrap it in any kind of ribbon that you want. I know that Teresa from Teresa Plans made one last year. She told me that had she'd wrapped orange around the green wreath form, I believe, and just put a few skulls here and there. But this I got inspired from Pinterest a couple of years ago, and what they actually used is they used the full giant skulls and they made a big wreath. And when I saw this little bag, I thought, how perfect would that look on a little wreath? And then I turned the corner and I saw the little wreaths, and I just thought it was a match made in heaven. So here's how it looks like all finished. And it's funny because we're just going to glue down the end. But the wreath itself has the same shape as like the underside of the skull. That little bump that goes in the middle of the wreath from the middle wire fits perfectly on the base of the skull. So I'll show you here how it looks on that wire-edged burlap ribbon. You see, it kind of gets washed away. I mean, it's not a terrible look. Don't get me wrong. It's just not the look that I was after. And actually, I had Jim come over. My husband Jim, if you're new to my channel, my husband Jim is a mainstay around here. I asked him to come and actually give me some input on this because I kind of wanted to take it a little bit towards the creepy side. And at first I was thinking fun, cute farmhouse skulls, but then I was like, let's creep it up a little bit. And he had some really great suggestions. And one of the suggestions he had was to have the moss dripping off of it. So I'll show you a cute little finish touch for this. And then I'm going to show you a little bit of a creepy touch for this. As you saw maybe on the thumbnail, it's got 4 different looks just with one wreath and changing just 1 or 2 little items. All right, so basically, like I said, underside of the skull, right below the chin, is where the line of glue goes, and it fits perfectly right on this wreath. It's kind of like I said, it was made for it. And I had gotten 2 bags, and one bag had 1 more skull than the other one, but you might need as many as 3 bags, because if I had both bags that were the same amount as the first one, it wouldn't have been enough. But you could also spread them out a little bit. As you notice here, they're spread out a tiny bit more. In fact, I was spreading them out so much that I didn't leave room for the last one. So I just went ahead while the glue was still warm and I peeled it up and re-glued it down, and now it is finished. So I had this skull ribbon left over from last year. If you've been around for a while, you've seen it in my pumpkin topiary Halloween display. But I just took a remnant left and I tied a bow. I thought go with the skull and crossbones thing. I do wish that it was ivory and not white, but Jim said it's okay that it was like that to get over it. So I was thinking all these different ways to coffee, tea, dye it, coffee stain it or tea stain it. But he said, just leave it. He said, you said the other one was too much the same color as the skulls. Why do you want this one to be the same? He's right. I don't listen. So what I've done is I've just made a simple bow. We've made lots of bows on here before. And I've taken a piece of metal twist tie that I had left over. I kind of feel like I was born in the Depression where I save all these little things. But whenever I get a package of something at the Dollar Tree and it comes on a little metal twist tie, I save them in a little jar, in one of the little mason jars left over from one of the candles from the Dollar Tree. And what I did was I took the wire and I just slipped it under the knot. And I did that because I wanted to make this bow removable. So I would just put the bow between 2 of the skulls, and then I maneuvered it because it's wire edged, so it's really easy to maneuver wire edge ribbon. And then I fluffed it and zhuzhed it, and I took some of the wire, and I made a hanger. And then of course you got to dog ear your tails, right? And then you got to like fan your tails out, right? You got to wave your tails with your fingers, right? I'm crazy. I'm sorry. If you're new to my channel, I'm a little bit crazy and I do like to talk. And most of the people say they like to hear me talk. So if you don't, I apologize ahead of time. So then just fluff it up till it looks cute. And this is how it looks with just a bow. And I thought it was kind of cute, actually. But again, it wasn't the look I was going for, so I'm going to redo it. But here's what it looks like with just a bow. And again, different bows. You could have just black bow. That'd be great. But then I had these little ornaments. And this one says Boo. And it's black glitter. And I just glued it ever so slightly at the 4 corners where it touches the bow because it's very light. And I was not worried about it falling off. So wherever it touched the bow, I just put a dab of hot glue there. And there. And there. So that it would stay basically right in the middle of the bow. And then this is the second look. I actually really like this one too. Since I put the bow temporarily, I think I'm going to use that boo somewhere else. But what we're going to do now is we're going to creep it up. The first thing that I'd like to do is I want to put some creepy Spanish moss. If you are familiar with Spanish moss, it's the dead-looking moss that's at the Dollar Tree, not the vibrant green stuff. But Jimmy said it would look like, he wanted to feel like a pirate. dead man's sort of skull and moss grown over it sort of situation. I do wish that I had some black paint. I would love to have done some faux finishing on the skulls. And actually, I probably could have. I don't know how that tempera paint would stick on plastic, but that's an option as well, just to make some of the skulls look a little bit different from each other. So I'm just randomly sticking a patch of moss here and there and everywhere. But you do as much or as little as you want. Again, this is just to add a little bit of the creepy, grown-in, worn-off, scully look, if you know what I mean. And the other thing that I didn't mention in the beginning that we used is I have these old skeleton parts from last year. If you've been around for a while, I made a bottle of Skelegro, which is from Harry Potter, from my apothecary jar. I'll link my entire Halloween playlist in the description box down below, as well as links to all the ladies' channels that are doing the collaboration. But what I did was I just took off 2 leg bones, and I just am creating a crossbones sort of situation with hot glue. Then after the glue is set up, I've taken some jute, which I told you in the beginning you might want to use. And I'm just going to tie like they would if it was a real pirate ship. But I also wanted to simulate a bow. So I thought that the knot in the middle of the crossbows would kind of simulate the middle of a bow. And the crossbows themselves kind of do. Crossbones themselves kind of create a bow feel. So this is the way of adding a little girly to your boy pirate. Actually, I asked Jim, I said, would the bones bow look better at the top or the bottom? And he said, well, if you want it to look girly, you put it at the top. If you want it to look more masculine, you put it at the bottom. So that's what I kind of did. What I did was I glued it. He said glue it between 2 skulls. So there you go. I found a space between 2 skulls. I said, you sure not on one bow? He's like, nope, between them. I said, okay. So I put a big bunch of hot glue, and I glued that right between those 2 skulls. And then what I decided to do on his suggestion about making it masculine or feminine is I put 2 hangers on it. I put a hanger so that it could switch from the top to the bottom. And if you've been around a while, you know for a hanger, we just take a couple of pieces of jute, fold it in half, tie a knot on the end, and make a sort of little tiny noose. And we're going to do this twice. So we could place one at the top and one at the bottom. And you want to make them just big enough that they'll fit over a nail, but small enough that they don't stick out when you have the wreath in the opposite direction. So one is going to go directly behind the crossbones, and one is going to go directly across from the crossbones. And again, we're just going to hot glue down the knot. You want to make sure you don't hot glue down the loop, and cut off any extra threads like there that you might have. And that's it. So here's what it looks like girl style with the skull and crossbones bow on the bottom. It's not a skull and crossbones, it's just crossbones. And here's what it looks like with the crossbones bow at the top. Oh wait, this is feminine. The other one's masculine. I don't know which one he said. But that's it, everybody. I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. It was pretty fast. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to check out all the other videos in this collaboration, as well as the ladies' channels. I really love the support we give each other in this community. It's not a competition. It's just a beautiful collaboration. If you haven't yet, click subscribe, and when you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And you should, so you can join this crazy family of ours, enjoy all things inexpensive, with disabilities, on a budget, from the Dollar Tree, creative and crafty. And as always, take care, God bless, and we'll see you next time. Bye! Happy Halloween!